love and unity, and that the church would find new zeal and commitment to the mission and purpose of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
You're a liar! You're a liar!
Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart.
Well, it's that time again, ladies and gentlemen, for the Political Pulpit. I'm your host, Josh Navarrete, and it's wonderful and so good to be back on the program. It's about time, right? It's been a minute. It's been a couple weeks, actually, of spotty live and going recording. But I tell you what, ministry has got us so busy, but we wouldn't want it any other way. We have launched Redeemer Christian Academy effectively, immediately. It's been crazy. It's been so good. We're happy. We're blessed. We are so thankful for the opportunity to offer alternative education, Christian education to our community. And so we've been really plugged into that. We're hoping to actually get kids, young people, elementary, junior high, primarily junior high and high school students to learn media and music and ministry and plug them in and get them involved in ministry right away. So a lot of our programming is going to be assisted by some of our students who are doing electives in technology. So we're super excited about that. We're blessed for the opportunity. We're also blessed for what God is doing in Arizona. In Mesa, Arizona, at Redeemer Apostolic Church. As you all know, that I've been installed under the leadership and guidance of Bishop Navarrete as senior pastor of Redeemer Apostolic Church. So we've been also so busy with that. This week is VBS, and that's been in its own massive overtaking because we see lots of kids, hundreds of kids and families come to our location for VBS, a week-long vacation Bible school. And I know you all have either done that already or right in the middle of it or about to start. So you know exactly what that's like coming back from Camp Unstoppable, going into VBS, revivals, and special services. We have Friend Day coming up. There's just so much. It's just incredible. Coming back from the White House last month for the Liberty and the Faith and Liberty Commission, signed by the President of the United States, never been done before, right there on the White House lawn, the Rose Garden. I got to witness that and spend some time with many, many great influences and friends in our nation, especially in the faith community. And we are planning to go back for some more insightful, awesome, godly, and faith-driven things that are upcoming for our nation, which we all know we need. And especially the topic that we're going to cover today, because we kind of have to stay relevant. I'm not excited about it because, quite frankly, it's annoying. I'm pretty annoyed by it because it's just, I think I'm probably annoyed because we're just not getting answers. And I think you all have understand that, where this whole thing about the Epstein files, and I want to reiterate something, that it's really about the victims and those that have been attacked and assaulted and their lives have been ruined. And it's as if nothing has ever happened. There's no justice served. And I think the problem is this, that the elites, the globalists, the big timers, the guys that are running the show get away with all kinds of things. And I think that's why the base, the American people, now people on both sides of the aisle are pretty upset about it. And now we've seen the president recently say, you're weaklings if you're still worried about this. So, welcome to the program, my fellow weaklings. I don't normally spend time on things like this, but we're going to do that just a little bit. So if you are in the comment sections, or if you have the ability to make comments, please do so, because it helps us break through. I want to say hi to a great friend, Jamie Villegas, who's doing tremendous things in our community here in Arizona. She's a patriot, a fighter. So thank you for joining us. And of course, Danny Williams, good friend, good person, good man of God in our location, and want to thank you for joining us. So tell us what you all think as we continue to comment and work through some of these issues. We got plenty of clips, plenty of reasons why we think this is happening. There's a lot of theories out there. There are some theories that the president is implicated in some of these files. but many, common sense is that he would have been dumped on, I guess, the last 5 years by the previous administration. So I think it's deeper than that. I think it's the people that are implicated. I think it's the leverage that you have by keeping some of this stuff in the back of your pocket. But I think a lot of us are upset of the gaslighting. Do I support President Donald Trump and his agenda? Absolutely, 100%. I do think, though, that this has put him in a tight place and has caused, maybe this isn't the wisest ways to approach it, to start calling your base names and making it seem like we're the problem or we're the crazy ones, because I think we need answers. The American people demand answers, and that goes to say through many channels, many media outlets, many voices, many influential people are saying the same thing. A lot of them are upset by that. And we want to dive into that just a little bit. Not excited about it because I hate the subject. I think people that have been attacked and injured by people like this, it really the ones that suffer. While we all fight about the nuances and things, there are victims that are involved, hundreds of victims. And I think justice needs to happen for these people, but most of all, they need to clean out the swamp. We've been talking about draining the swamp, getting rid of bureaucrats and all those that have greed and power and all the wrong, evil vices that, and they're in our country, they're in our government on either side. Those people need to be addressed and dealt with. So our first clip, by the way, is from Real America's Voice, and we want to show you a clip from there. This is a phone call that they had with President Donald Trump, how he's trying to downplay it. Take a look.
For all the things that have happened, there's the Russia collusion against you, there is Jack Smith against you, there's all the things that happened in 2020, not investigating China interference in the 2020 election. Where do you think, what are the things that are most important that you would like to see the FBI get to the bottom of?
I think they could look at all of it. It's all the same scam. They could look at this Jeffrey Epstein hoax also, because that's the same stuff. That's all put out by Democrats.
Yeah.
And, some of the naive Republicans fall right into line like they always do. They just don't have the sustainability. They don't have they don't have that stick to it like glue. The Democrats, they have bad policy. They have bad candidates. They have bad everything, but they stick together. The Republicans don't do that, but they ought to look into the Jeffrey Epstein hoax too, because that's another hoax that's frankly put out by the pushing the Republicans and put out by the Democrats. No.
Many of us, we're not saying anything different from what we've been saying for years about Epstein. Okay. And also what Trump has been saying for years about it. Now Trump has decided all of a sudden that the issue doesn't matter. It's boring. And anyone who talks about it is a weakling and not one of his supporters. He decided that in the last 2 weeks. He never said that before. So the idea that we as conservatives are obligated to just adopt that perspective out of the blue is madness. It's also not possible, by the way. Even if I wanted to just decide that I don't care about this anymore, it doesn't work that way. I can't. I can't just, you can't say to me, well, you shouldn't care about this. Okay, well, then I don't. Well, never mind. Even if I wanted to obey that directive, I just can't.
Yeah.
I care about the issue. I've cared about it for the last 5-6 years. I've cared about it the whole time. I still do.
So I think he shares a lot of the same sentiments. Everybody cares, but they also care about those issues. They care that people are getting away with what they're getting away with. There's victims out there. Most of all, there are clients who bought into this whole thing he was running. It's like an elite trafficking ring where we know elites like brother of the King of Britain, of England, his youngest brother was, who was involved in this. And so he got slapped on the wrist for 6 months. And, they offered President Donald Trump to do a second in command stay or something they called it at the Royal Kingdom. They're protecting the crown, as they say, the legacy, the name of Queen Elizabeth and King Charles and all that goes in the Royal Kingdom and what that looks like and how that sounds and the history, and they're trying to protect it, and yet they offer President Donald Trump. I'm not saying this is what happened, but this is a lot of the stuff that we think about. Why do these powerful people get in the mix and all of a sudden they try to convince us like we're crazy? We know there's something going on, and I think it's much greater than we probably realize. I tell people all this all the time. I don't think we really want to see what's in the files because it's probably horrible. But I think people are tired of seeing people, powerful figures across the world get away with the things they get away with. Let's take a look at this tab. Here it says, breaking, exclusive speaker Mike Johnson says he supports Ghislaine Maxwell testifying to Congress and demands the DOJ release everything they have on Epstein. I'm for transparency. We should put everything out there and let the people decide. Well, I agree. So let's do it. Let's do it.
It's sort of on the heels of something else that a lot of people are asking questions about. And because we've been lied to by our federal government for so long, I feel like there's some type of like there's a pain point, right? And a pressure cooker that gets heated up on issues like the Epstein issue, right? And obviously that's something that's taken over
This
a lot
is
of
out of the Benny
online
Johnson
dialogue.
shows, you guys can
The
tell.
question here about it that concerns either testifying or testimony for Ghislaine Maxwell potentially before Congress, or if you would support members like Marjorie Taylor Greene or Anna Paulina Luna on the release of subpoenaing the Epstein documents from the DOJ, whether you would support either of those.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Marjorie or Anna about that specific subject, but I'm for transparency. We're intellectually consistent in this. Look, Reagan used to tell us we should trust the American people. I believe in that principle. I know President Trump does as well, and I trust him. I mean, he put together a team of his choosing, and they're doing a great job. It's a very delicate subject, but we should put everything out there and let the people decide it. I mean, the White House and the White House team are privy to facts that I don't know. I mean, this isn't my lane. I haven't been involved in that.
It's like nobody wants to
I
touch
agree
it.
with the sentiment that we need to put it out there. And Pam Bondi, I don't know, when she originally made the statement, I think she was talking about documents, as I understood it, they were on her desk. I don't know that she was specific about a list or whatever, but she needs to come forward and explain that to everybody. I like Pam. I mean, I think she's done a good job. We need the DOJ focusing on the major priorities. So let's get this thing resolved so that they can deal with violent crime and public safety and election integrity and going after Act Blue and the things that the president is most concerned about, as we are. So I'm anxious to get this behind us.
I really think that there's a possibility that nobody wants to give up all the names, because if there's deals to be made, they could use this against them, almost like blackmail. Sounds crazy, but there have been crazier things. Take a look at what Joe Rogan says. They've got videotape and all of a sudden they don't. Why'd they say there was thousands of hours of tapes of people doing horrible stuff? Good question. I think everybody's asking the same thing. That's my theory. They're using it, going to keep it, and you never know. They might try to use it to get what they want.
Got videotape, and all of a sudden they don't. You know, you have the director of the FBI on the show saying there's no if there was, nothing you're looking for is on those tapes. Like, what? Why did they say there was thousands of hours of tapes of people doing horrible shit. Why did they say that?
Sorry
Right.
about
Didn't
the
Pam
words, guys.
Bondi say that?
What, are you talking about Epstein or Diddy?
Yeah, Epstein.
Epstein. Yeah, she said it literally, I think, a week before you had the FBI director sitting here telling you there was nothing, right?
She said something about that there was like thousands
Yes.
of hours of tapes of people doing horrible crimes.
There is. And didn't the FBI dude say that there was nothing?
Cash Patel said there's nothing you're looking for. Oh, okay. Okay.
And
I mean,
he-
what am I going to do? I'm going to push back.
Right. No, of
and
course, I understand.
Obviously,
I understand.
he's saying what he has to say.
Right.
Mystery surrounds the Jeffrey Epstein files after Bondi claimed.
Sorry, guys. He was the one that Cash Patel was the one that was saying they should go release those files first. The 9/11 tapes, the Epstein files, and I forgot whatever else. But here's another one. Pedos is trending on X. Here's Pam Bondi upset over AG Merrick Garland and the Biden DOJ hiding the Jeffrey Epstein client list and explaining human trafficking is a multi-billion-dollar business in this country. Now she's AG and protecting. Well, I don't know if she's protecting pedos. Like, Pam's good at what she's doing. She's a great person. I think she's just not handling it very well, getting the influencers to come out and then show binders and stuff of the actual, what they say were the files, but it was a terrible stack of documents that was just completely redacted and blacked out. They're not handling it well. I think they got in too quickly without seeing everything. And now that they saw everything, they're like, wait a minute, we can't just give it all up. But now the American people are frustrated. And I'm just saying, calling everybody names isn't the way. But let's take a look what she was saying back then.
I want to know why AG Garland and the Justice Department are so quiet on this tonight. They're out there labeling parents domestic terrorists, yet they're saying nothing about this. And these documents were so slow to come out. Human trafficking is a multi-billion-dollar business in this country, and Jeffrey Epstein is dead, and Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for 20 years where she belongs. And if people in that report are still fighting to keep their names private, Sean, they have no legal basis to do so unless they're a child, a victim, or a cooperating defendant by some chance against some potential case against Ghislaine Maxwell. And I think Mark Garagos, as a great criminal defense attorney, will back that up as well.
Okay, so of course they're going to show, I feel like because this is all Florida and where he was at, talking about Epstein, mixing up with the most powerful people, they're going to have pictures of him. But Trump does say, once he found out what was going on, he kicked him out of the clubs, kicked him out of his, his spots, his golf resort or whatever. I don't know what he has, hotels and nightclubs and all the things that this billionaire president that we have he has a lot. But he kicked him out because when he found out what was going on, enough was enough. Now we just got to believe that this is I'm hoping that the president changes the way he talks about his base because it's going to help. It's going to hurt us in the midterms. But let me tell you something. Do y'all remember when President Donald Trump kept talking about the vaccines and Operation Warp Speed? Well, as he was bringing those things up in his rallies and masses of people, they were not happy, and they continued to boo those statements. They spoke up. And I think that's what the American people need to continue to do, because then he stopped. Then he changed that conversation. He realized what his base is really saying. So for those of you, and I know some do check in that are close to the situation, if you hear us and if you hear this base, understand that this is still important to the American people. Why? Because there are victims. And the other reason is because we're tired of seeing globalists and elite and the most powerful, greedy men and women get away with the things that they get away with. Let's just release them and get it over with. Move on so we can tackle what's in front of us and get behind you. The midterms are coming up. We want to continue to expand in the halls of Congress and in the Senate, because there's a lot to be done still. There's a lot to be done still. We got a few more years left of this presidency. Now we got to worry about the next round of elections coming up. We got to clean up the elections. Arizona's in trouble, y'all. Like the election process, we've been hacked several times. Nick Fuentes is not doing his job. As a matter of fact, I feel like there's corruption there. All my Arizona people that know what I'm talking about, I mean, you know exactly what we've been going through. There's something terribly going on, terribly wrong with our election system in Arizona, and we have one of the biggest counties, Maricopa County, that we need to win. We have, I live in CD4. It's been run by crazy liberals for a long time now, and we have some great candidates that need to get in, but we don't stand a chance against the fraud in Arizona. There are things we need to fix. Of course, the border, President Donald Trump's doing a tremendous job. I think there's been about 1 million people that have self-deported, and we didn't even have to deport them. And of course, all of the cleanup that we're doing. And we got to fix the messaging in the media, because they're saying that the ICE is just picking up just about anybody. They're going after the criminals, and we need to continue to go after the criminals. And then, of course, there are people crying for amnesty. I don't understand that. I don't think that's the right way, but we'll leave that for another day. Take a look at this next one. Let me see if I can put it up quickly. But before, I want to say thank you to Joel Medrano. Thank you for joining us on the show. Appreciate you, brother. And Jamie Villegas, thank you so much. You're absolutely right. There are Clinton's pictures too. Yes, there are. There's a lot of them. Matter of fact, there is a picture of Bill Clinton on the island in a blue dress with his legs crossed, just like Obama crosses his legs very strangely, and whatever. I don't want to get into that. But, Gavin Newsom does the same thing. It's actually weird. Okay, so we got Martha McPherson. Actually not true about the fraud in the election system in Arizona. I respectfully disagree. There are some things that we've seen that we need to fix, and I think it goes for both sides. It's not just on the Republican side. I think what we are noticing is there are hackers getting into the voting systems, is really what it comes down to. So I think it's best that we look at it from both sides, so both sides have a fair chance. It's not just really one side. But thank you so much, Martha, for joining in and taking the time to comment. And then Fontes needs to be taken out. Governor Katie Hobbs, veto queen. She is vetoing a lot. Everything that comes to her desk, it doesn't get passed. But that's kind of how it goes. When you own the House, unfortunately, and you are on either side, they make that decision. That's why I think we need to fix it. We need fair elections in Arizona. We also need fair elections in other counties throughout the United States. We need to look into it. I would love the idea of paper ballots. Going back to it, I mean, there's some evidence and some video that we've seen, we've looked at back in the olden times, this more simple times we'll call it, where there is a faster count time and results time with paper ballots, because it's more efficient. We're not relying on machines. Machines aren't breaking down. There was a few years ago where printers went down throughout the certain counties and it delayed. And then, of course, Arizona takes, the longest to count their ballots from machines. So it goes from machines to people. It's so inefficient, and it makes it very frustrating. We should be a lot faster on how we do our elections and more efficient. I think we could all agree on that, and at some degree, maybe not completely, but we want clean, fair elections. Simple. All right, so why didn't the Democrats call for the release of the Epstein files from 21 to 2025? That's a good question. Look at Raskin's rat face when he's asked the question. Take a hard look. Oh, I've seen this clip. He didn't really answer very well, probably because he wasn't expecting that from this media outlet. Let's take a look.
State Congressman, you could have gotten that from 21 to 25 when Democrats controlled the DOJ. Why? It was a crisis then. It's a crisis now. Why didn't Democrats call for it from 21 to 25?
So, I mean, you'd have to go back and look specifically at particular prosecutorial decisions and what was taking place in terms of the other cases. So I don't know. We could try to reconstruct that record. But the point is that Donald Trump is the one who has led the crusade to say that that Epstein, who was his very close friend, and there's all kinds of pictures of them in the state.
Congressman, you could have gotten that from 21 to 25 when Democrats controlled.
But there's pictures of him with a lot of different people as well. I don't know that that's proof, but hey, let's get the files released. Let's find out. I mean, I don't like being called a weakling because I think the file should be released. So that's just my opinion. I'm not going to be blindly led to believe that, oh, you know what, you're right. He says we shouldn't worry about it. No, I think we should still find out regardless. And because I think it holds people accountable. That's really what we got to do. We need to hold all people accountable, whether we have a Democratic governor, a Republican governor, president, whoever it is. We have to hold everybody accountable. Some might say like it's not our job, but I think it is. It's the voice of the people. This country was founded by you and I and our ancestry and people before us. That's the way this should work. But a lot of times we got power, corruption, greed, money, the things that taint people's judgment. And it's that greed, that power that people want. But it's our job. So Sheila Cockerman, thank you for joining. She says, good evening to you. And yes, so much cheating took place in 2020 elections from Ana Rodriguez. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so let's see what we have on the next one. We have Tucker Carlson, who has been very, very critical of the last, few things that have been going on, including Israel, including the president's support for Israel, and now the Epstein thing. So let's take a look what he says. He says, what is it about Jeffrey Epstein that's so infuriating to people? So infuriating that it's actually causing seismic political problems. What is it? I'll tell you what it is. It's the frustration of normal people watching a certain class of people get away with everything every single time. That's it. Simple as that. I love that he said that. I can agree. Let's find out. And let's figure it out.
What is it about Jeffrey Epstein that's so infuriating to people, so infuriating that it's actually causing seismic political problems? And I hope that they'll address it and it'll get better. I really do. But what is it? I'll tell you what it is. It's the frustration of normal people watching a certain class of people get away with everything every single time. That's what it is.
Yep.
What is it about Jeffrey Epstein that's so infuriating to people?
So tired of it.
So infuriating that it's actually causing seismic political problems.
I hope guys. Let's do the next one. I have Glenn Beck going over some theories, which we already talked about. So we won't watch the whole thing. But he's got some pretty good... I don't know. Of course, he's an average supporter, right? I think I'm a little bit more critical, but at the same time, he's got some good points. So let's take a look.
I want to just take you through the possibilities that I think could be happening here. The possibilities, possibility number one, and this is what the left is saying, and some people now on his team are saying. He's in the report. With 15-year-olds?
That would be terrible.
Really? Do you actually believe that? I mean, let's be honest. 20 years ago, if, this was like, hey, he was on an island with 25-year-old models, I would be going, probably, okay? 15, 16-year-olds, that's not Donald Trump. It's not Donald Trump. I don't believe that. Do you? I say, no way that's true. Second theory. His friends, his donors, and the power GOP are in it. Okay, first of all, if the power
All right, so Alex Garcia says, I think Israel got to Trump and told him to back off. It's not a popular opinion. I think that's very possible. There is very, very powerful people in the Israeli camp, and it's like, it's a tough conversation to have, but could it be that they let there's some people implicated there and said, all right, we got to chill out on this one. I don't know. But thank you so much. Thank you for chiming in, Alex. And then, of course, the church is the main focus about who represents us in our election. Amen. Let's represent our country through the word of God. I love that. Thank you so much. All right, let's keep going here. I don't like that first theory. He better not be in them. That would be so devastating, honestly. But I don't think that's the case. They go to back in the day, the 80s, 90s, parties. I get it. Powerful people. Do I like it? No, but we didn't vote in a pastor. I keep saying that. He's not our pastor. He's the president. No president is perfect. No politician, by all means, is any close to perfect. But let's keep going.
GOP were in that? I'm not sure. If the power GOP were in that, also the power DNC would be in it, and he'd be all for destroying both of those. Okay? It makes no sense. Unless you want to say, well, he wants to use this, and I'll get to that here in a second. But let's just say he's only doing it because his friends, his donors, or the power GOP are in it. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Listen to theory 3. I don't think that's true. There's no way. Let me ask you, except for the Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh, when was the last time, and Kavanaugh is different because he didn't do anything. When have you seen anybody in the administration that actually did something wrong that Donald Trump, when the heat got on them, he didn't just go, yeah, see, you got to take care of that. You're on your own on that. Okay. He's not going to take the heat for his friends if they did something wrong. Think about that, just that. His friends or donors or the power GOP are in it. Do you think he'd flush down half of the MAGA movement for friends or power?
Well, that's kind of, so that's what I think everybody's worried about, is that there are people implicated in these files that would destroy the entire administration, or not the entire, but certain key people could be in trouble. I don't know. That could be the case. And it's like, you know what, let's just calm this down for a while. Let's get through the next 3 years. Or, like I said, he's using it for leverage. Who knows? Let's keep going.
Power brokers? Never. Never. The man knows where his power comes from, and it's from his base. No way. Don't believe it. Now, 3 is a possibility. I don't believe it, but it's a possibility. And that is that 2 is kind of true. His friends, donors, power, GOP. And he's using the information. For instance, let's say Jeffrey Epstein was a Mossad agent. I could see Donald Trump, who does not want regime change in Iran, thinking that would be bad for the country and the world. Bibi, Benny, can I call you that? Your boy here was a Mossad agent. Now, yes, the CIA was involved, so it's going to be bad for both of us, but probably worse for you. So I'm going to keep this under wraps, but what you're going to do is not have regime change in Iran. If the president saw something that he felt was accomplished that would be very, very good by saying, I'm going to sit on that, I think he might do it. I think he might do it. But I don't think that's what happened. I don't. Because of today's letter. Okay? I'm going to get to that now. The 4th theory is what the president is trying to say, there's nothing here.
That's crazy. Of course there's something there. He didn't just assault people by himself and hang out with the most powerful people in the world, a brother of a king or a prince actually. There is probably a ton there. Number 4 is crazy. Let's keep going. There's no way. And that's why people are upset. That's why people want to know why we're being called weaklings for trying to figure out what's going on here. Okay, so, I mean, I don't think I'm too off for saying that. I mean, if anybody else has something else to say in the comments, let me know. Like, do you think it's a big deal, or should I move on? The only reason really I'm talking about this is because we're being gaslit in a sense where it's like, oh, there's nothing here, nothing in the files, move on. If you believe it, you're a weakling. You're just like the Democrats, or you're just like the others. I don't know that I like that too much, because a lot of us have went hard for the president. A lot of us. We've lost friends over this. We've lost opportunities over this. We believe in this. So I think it's fair to say that we deserve some answers and not to be gaslit and called weaklings.
The chain of custody is ridiculous. We don't know what's real and what's not. It has been sitting around desks and in the hands of lefties, righties, power brokers, people who are guilty, people who are innocent. We don't know the chain of custody of this thing. We can't prove anything. Thus, there's nothing in there. There's nothing we can prove. Move on. That I could believe.
Maybe.
That one I could believe.
Maybe.
But it doesn't explain
so, though.
today's letter. Laura Trump said something earlier this week. She said, I just want to tell you there's more information that's going to come out. Okay. That's when I thought, okay, idea number 4. That's true. There's nothing there because it's got 1,000 fingerprints on it, and there's nothing you can prove because I don't believe 1, 2, or 3. I don't. Doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, let's keep going.
Me, what I just said to you, talk of the world, selfish people are trying to hurt it over a guy who never dies. Why are we giving? Okay, it's Epstein over and over again. That theory works.
All right, I don't really care to break all that down. Just release it. Come on. You guys know this is ridiculous. I mean, it's great content for Glenn, but at the same time, whatever the theory is, I don't think it's good enough to not be transparent. You guys agree? I mean, otherwise, we're dealing with this whole thing, the JFK files. There, come to find out, there really is no proof that the CIA was involved. I mean, I shouldn't say that with a whole lot of conviction, because I think there are some ties to it, but they haven't really put it all together. But also, you got to remember reporting. I mean, they can easily destroy reports. They can easily destroy documents. That stuff's been around since obviously the 60s. And we may never know. This is probably what's going to happen with the Epstein files. We may never know. And I just don't think this is the right way to shut it down, is what I'm saying. Calling names and you're dividing your base is not going to be good for midterms. I think the Democrats are probably salivating over this because they're like, oh man, they're infighting, they're destroying from within. The president's right at this point, in the sense that the Democrats, that group of people, they align very quickly and very strongly, as the president would say. The Republicans do some infighting and division, and just always they're destroying each other. They eat from within, they destroy from within. And this is the stuff that could be dangerous for midterms. Now, I think that we probably aren't going to see what you want to see in the files anyway. So at some point, we'll have to keep moving on, and I don't know what's going to change it. What worries me is the stuff that's happening overseas, the things that are happening in Israel. Supposedly, they're getting ready they certified the first red calf. Let's talk about those things. Let's talk about what's going on. Israel just bombed Syria, and there's a Syria ceasefire that just came out, and there's a lot of turmoil and tension. We just sent more arms to Ukraine to defend themselves. Russia is going to be tariffed by a huge number, and that they're willing to consider. There's a lot of big things that are happening, and we're discussing why these things with the list, an Epstein list, aren't being released. And I'm spending a whole, what has it been, 38 minutes on this. But I think because it's important to the American people, and people want to know why this stuff's happening, and know why they're being called weaklings, and you're being two-faced or two-timed and all those things. I get it. We love drama, but we also want accountability. Alex Garcia says, during Trump's campaign, he hung on. Let me just go ahead and hopefully it's good to show. Let's see. During Trump's campaign, he hung on the draining the swamp. And he gets the chance to cut the head off the snake. He gets cold feet. If he's using the info on Epstein as blackmail, that can come back and bite him later. And that's a smack in the face to the victims. I think you're absolutely right. Imagine being a victim in this case, and you're watching this unfold. And guess what? They're saying, there's nothing here. And you're a victim. You're like, wait, what? I spent time with this leader, this world leader. I was on the plane with this president. I was on the plane with this governor or senator or congressman, this prince, this king, this whoever it is. And you're saying nothing happened. There's nothing to be seen here. It is a little bit of a slap in the face. And Sheila Cockerham says, we deserve some answers. Yes, we do. And I think, let's pray. Let's pray the president does the right thing. We're always going to lean on pray. We're always going to lean on righteousness and asking God for the right direction in our country. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on a little bit. I have a clip from Caroline Leavitt, who stuns America by announcing tariff revenues were $113 billion. That's good news. I mean, right? Let's see. Why isn't it showing up? Oh, there it is, guys. Sorry about that. Producing by myself today. Think I'm doing a great job. I have a hand clap sound for that. Let's see. Applause. I'm doing a great job. Thank you. Thank you. Not everybody at once. Not everybody at once. Appreciate your support. Okay. So she goes on to say this. Take a look.
Customs and tariff revenue has already totaled more than $113 billion since President Trump entered office, helping to lead a budget surplus in June for the first time in nearly a decade. We are truly entering a golden age as a result of these pro-growth and America First trade policies.
Well, that's good news. Pro-growth. We are seeing better movement when it comes to tariffs. I know a lot of people are concerned about it and worried, and that's a good thing. We're going to see some more money into your pockets. I think in the next 3 to 4 years, we're going to see more revenue, more people, more access to money. We got to get these interest rates to come down. General Powell needs to figure this out, or he needs to get fired. The only way he's going to get fired if there's some corruption, and hopefully they find something, because these rates need to come down. We need more homes to be built in our countries. We're not building enough homes. Rent sky high, mortgages sky high, populations is up, and wages is down. Cost of living is still high. I know we were hoping for much lower gas prices, but they're not all that low, and grocery prices are not all that low. I mean, how many people go out to eat? We're a family of 6. It's easily over $120 every time. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, and that needs to be fixed. So we're going to keep pressing and praying and pushing for good policy. That's what we need. There's some news today that broke. I can't stand this show, by the way. I mean, who agrees with me? You guys like this show? I didn't like it in the first place. And here's one of the reasons. This guy, his show is being canceled, but we still got a whole other year left. Blah. You guys remember that? That was a joke. Ugh. Guy with the beard. Oh, it's so blurry. You guys can't see it that well. Yeah, gross. Anyway, it's over. Next May 26th is the last month. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and continue moving forward. This is world news, and we're going to end shortly after this. But I want to thank you guys for joining us in the comments. That's awesome. I'm finally getting my Facebook comments on here. It's just wonderful getting our YouTube comments here on here. Other thing you guys can help is subscribing to our YouTube channel. YouTube is really tough to grow on, so we're doing our best. But you can also watch our show on watch.osn.tv. Some other great stuff coming on, some other great shows coming out on that platform. We got End Time Ministries, that's prophecy in the news. We have The Little Things, which is like a Bible study show that dives into biblical studies and real life application. And then we got the Joy Hour, which is more about uplifting, discovering who you are, leadership, and figuring out who you are in Christ. And there's so many other shows. We even have a show, I think it's called The Golden Report. It's a IDF soldier who reports from Israel, who's got a show on that. You guys got to watch. It's great stuff. Well, we're on this platform, onlysource.tv, osn.tv. You can use promo code Josh to subscribe. There are some free content on there, but to get all of our episodes, all the shows, you'll have to subscribe, but you get a great discount if you use my name on the promo code. So we want to thank you guys for joining us there, and please share. If you're on Facebook, you can share it to your groups, let people know we're here. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, notification bell, and of course on X, repost us, quote us, and respond to us. We love our our sponsors, of course, thank you. Our partners, I should say. Thank you so much for helping us get the word out in this manner. All right. Ooh, I got that ugly screen on there. Let me take that off. Sorry, guys. That's horrible. Israel launches a massive attack on Damascus, Syria. Israel military says they are preparing for several days of combat in the Syria following heavy strikes on Damascus. The updated looks of the Syrian Defense Ministry building in Damascus, so it's completely destroyed. They've already had a ceasefire, and so we have some news coverage of that. Take a look here. It says IDF Syrian forces after regime move on Druze majority city. Okay, so large columns of Syrian regime forces rolled into Sweda amid violent clashes between Druze militias and forces loyal to the Sunni Islamist regime. It goes on to say this. The Israel Defense Forces were instructed on Tuesday to immediately protect the Druze minority in Syria by striking Syrian regime forces deployed to the Sweda area of the country's south, the Israeli Prime Minister's office said. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Israel Katz told the IDF to immediately strike regime forces and weaponry that were brought into the Sweda area of Syria, Jabal al-Druze. It's the Druze mountain region, for regime activity against the Druze, according to the statement. Damascus had violated the demilitarization policy that was decided upon, which prohibits the entry of regime forces and arms into southern Syria that could endanger Israel, it continued. It says Israel's committed to preventing harm to the Druze in Syria due to the deep fraternal alliance with our Druze citizens in Israel. So there are alliances that they're protecting, but now attacking. So that's some of the stuff that, we have to pay attention to. While we're over here worried about Mr. Epstein, who's no longer alive, we have issues here of people dying, attacks in the East and in the world. Here's a scene where dozens are wounded and dead in clashes as Syria announces a ceasefire.
والله حجوا معي من جوا من المزرعة حجوا معي من المزرعة بدهم بيجرحوا كثير المزرعة بدهم مفجر 30 على السويد عشان نأمن المدنية ونأمن بيوتهم من المسروقات. كنت تاني على المدرعة وإجا الطيران الإسرائيلي ضربنا. حاليا في إصابات كثير واستشهد شباب كمان.
Well, there you go. So that's some of the stuff that I don't think Americans realize what war is like. We don't see suffering this way, and we have no idea. Okay, so thanks, Shelia, for joining us. She's watching Only Source. Thanks, prayers and blessings. Well, thanks for joining us for a little while. We appreciate you stopping by. Huckabee calls on Israel to aggressively probe terrorist murders of U.S. Palestinians in the West Bank. So in highly rare statement weighing in on the Israeli policy in the West Bank, U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee says that he has asked Jerusalem to aggressively investigate the murder of Palestinian American Saif Musalat after he was allegedly beaten to death by settlers in the village of Sinjil near Ramallah last week. There must be accountability for this criminal and terrorist act. Saif was just 20 years old. This appears to be one of the first times that Huckabee has commented on rampant settler violence in the West Bank, though he avoids using the term or characterizing the killing as part of a phenomenon. A devout evangelical Christian, Huckabee has long expressed support for Israel annexing the West Bank. So there's crimes and criminal activity happening in the West Bank. He's speaking against it or about it. And so it says Christian Palestinian activities have been circulating a petition in recent days urging Huckabee to call out settler violence that has targeted the Christian village of Tebeh. Christians, we have no idea Christians in America, we do not know what persecution is. Let me tell you, there is crazy things in this world happening, and we are right in the middle of it as we get stuck on things like the Epstein files and the news of the day. Let's continue to pray for this world, pray for every soul, and win every soul possible. I want to thank you guys for joining us on the Political Pulpit as we continue to press on, press forward, and get the word of God out, and just kind of give you the news how we see it. We're so grateful for everybody that's joined, so grateful for everybody that's been a part of what we're doing. Please like, share, follow, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Join us on Only Source. Join us in everywhere you can. Support us, partner with us. We're so grateful for you. We thank you all for being a part of this. We'll see you all tomorrow on the same time. Thank you so much, all, and God bless.